Welcome to the finish line from So Very Easy. My name is Laura, and the finish line is on the first Thursday of every month. And with this series, we're going to finish our quilt tops. Everything we need to know about finishing those quilt tops. And last month, we talked about air quilting. And that's a way of taking the thread out of your machine so that you can develop memory skills and to get comfortable with any new machine, regardless if it's a sit-down or a home domestic. Well, today, let's get some quilting done, and it's one of my most favorite stitches, and it's called a double C. And you're going to be able to do this very quick and easy. If you can write a letter C, you're going to be able to do this pattern. A double C is just that. It is a letter C. We have one C shape. The next shape is another C, but it's going to go along the back of the first C. So you're almost tracing that first C. The whole stitch is all built around this double C. You can do small ones, large ones, medium size. You can also do them so they're more oval shape or more round shape. We need to make a C forward, but we also need to make backwards C's. And trace that C, always going to the outside. When we make these little C shapes, it's important that we don't go inside the C, that we always remain on the outside. If we make that C and then go back inside, it's hard to get out of that little area. And we almost end up making a wave shape. And there's nothing wrong with the wave shape, but going on the outside gives us more design opportunities. For quilting, we just need to continue doing C's. We start with our first C, copy over, do another C, do it from reverse, C up, C in the back, C front, C back. We're going to be able to continue this letter C going in all directions. If we come to an area where the quilt is being finished, we're going to be able to just take that stitching and follow one of the curves to a new point. And we can travel quite far if we need to. And then do the C and trace back. We're going to be able to always come out and do the C's. This double C is a start to many different stitches because we can add on to the C's. But this alone is very attractive. I find that the faster the machine runs, the bigger those C's are going to be. If we slow our speed down, our C's get to be a little bit smaller. The pattern I'm going to quilt today is a very simple quilt. It's a nice little small table topper. It's a good one to start and practice. And it was designed with just those great little 2.5-inch charm packs and one other fabric. I'll put a link in the description if you want to check out how to make that quilt top. If you have gloves, you can use gloves. If not, you can cut out these little circles. And this is stuff that goes underneath the rugs that prevents those rugs from moving. And they do hold the fabric quite well. And for the thread, I want a thread that is not as noticeable. So I'm going to use a thread that matches the most fabric, which in this case is this background linen color. And I do have a thread called linen. It is a glide thread, so it's 100% polyester. It has a little bit of a shine, which will look very pretty on this fabric. And it's also going to match my back fabric, so I have both the top and the bobbin in the thread. Once we have the bobbin on and the thread on, we're going to be able to start quilting. When I do free motion quilting, I like to divide my quilt into 4 parts, half and then half. I'm not drawing any lines, but in my mind, what I want to do is work on one section, then work on another, and I'm going to be able to continue around working on those 4 sections. That way I'm not trying to go all over the place, and it gives me a smaller portion for me to think about and concentrate on. When that area is done, then I'm going to move it over. Some of my quilting is going to go way into the other section, and some might go less into the other section. That's fine. I'm just keeping in mind I want to do a quarter at a time. The other thing I like to do is set myself up so that I have no space here. So I add a pillow. I put some type of a slippery pillow underneath me so I can crush it up between the machine and me. And that way the quilt has somewhere to sit on and it's not going to get pulled underneath. Be sure to take time and set yourself up so that you're comfortable. From here, I'm going to start into this area and bring my thread up. On the Bernina, we have a foot pedal that we can touch the back of the foot pedal and it'll bring up that thread for us. If not, you can always use the hand wheel. Once that bobbin thread has been pulled up, I'm going to pull both of the threads out of the way. By having both of these threads up to the top, it means I'm going to have no tangles of thread underneath. And we're ready to go. I want to make sure that I move my thread so that it doesn't get in my way, because I want to tie that off and stick it between the layers. The idea is just to do the C's in all different directions. For a stitch regulated machine, it doesn't matter the pressure that you're putting on the foot pedal, it will all dictate on how fast and the direction you're moving your hands. So get a comfortable position and push that pedal down. You can push it all the way, it's not going to make a difference. Normally we use the foot pedal for speed, but in this case our hands control the speed. So we can relax and put that pedal down all the way. And for the Bernina, we're going to have two little lights that will indicate we're ready to go. Just continue to make these little C's. Left C's, right C's. And then travel back until you get to a comfortable area that you need to make another C. You could do little C's to fill in holes and larger C's. You will find it really easy to go over top of that C a third time to change directions. If we constantly go in one direction, all of the C's are going to be like waves. So sometimes we need to trace that C a third time. And that gives us a chance to change the directions. So if we find we're always going in one direction, instead of doing the two C's, add a third. So I have the 1, 2. Now I'm going to trace the third time, and it helps me change that direction. You'll come across little areas that have holes. You're going to be able to just do that single C shape following some of the previous ones, coming back and going back in to fill these little holes. Then I can do another C to get out of that little hole or to fill in that little hole. So I'm going to fill in that little hole with the C and then come out. So I've traced over the one, traced over another, and then came back. And that filled in that little hole. And I still have that beautiful little curved shape. So most of this quarter piece is done. Some of it is in and some of it's out, and that's fine. I'm going to be able to fill it in. Now I'm going to do the other quarter. You can turn the quilt if it's small enough If you're comfortable with working in this direction, or leave it in this position and continue traveling over so I'm working my way up to fill in the second quarter. I have now finished that second quarter and I'm going to work on the next side. So I was able to turn this slightly as I was quilting to finish that quarter off. I now have that last quarter to do, so I've worked my way around in quarters, filling in the spots as I go along. And even though we have some big C's, some small C's, some C's going in the same direction, some even have 3 or 4 loops over top to travel, it still has a very pretty look. You don't really notice if they're big, small, or medium. We just need to fill that entire surface with some C's and then travel around those C's to get to where we need to be. The double C pattern is a very easy pattern to start off with. Just do your C's, remember to go on the outside of the C, travel around the C's in the same C shape, and well, the C's really do have it. Big or small, they're a lot of fun to do. Thank you for joining me today on Sew Very Easy. Feel free to subscribe, and as always, come on back. Let's see what we're quilting or sewing next time in the sewing room. Bye for now.